And as I've mentioned before, we'll lay down some color here, but you'll start with the lighter colors first. You can always build up. So obviously our whites are already here. We're not going to touch this, and we're going to get this very faint, sort of this blue, very cool blue, almost purple kind of colors through here. So we're going to use those first, and then we're going to build up to the darker blues, and there's a little bit of green in here as well. Okay, but we're going to go with the lightest lights first. Just you're going to build up these different light areas. So probably just pull. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my palette here. I'm actually going to dump a little bit of water into my tray, and make sure my blue I'm going to use. Again, here's this very light, and it's got a little bit of purple in it, just a little bit, just a touch. There we go. Okay, so it's really a watery mix, see? And so when you're doing clouds, you know, again, like I say, you leave the white coming up. You can allow a little bit of a watery use with the pigments. And got a little more purple in here, I think. Just add a little green in here. And because my tree is going to be darker, I don't mind going over that area. A little too dark. Back it up just a little bit. You see, I'm sort of almost letting the dry brush give me some of that line work or texture. And I think I'm good enough with the sky. Okay, so we'll leave the sky alone. And I think I'll come in here and work on this really nice bright. Now, we had a lot of blue in the palette, so I'm gonna have to put more water on one side here and go for some of those nice, really bright sort of colors. The yellows over here, a little bit of brown. Those are kind of those colors we discovered working on the sunflower. And again, we're looking at the lightest lights, which we all know is basically the lightest lights are actually just that. And see, I'm holding the brush sideways like this because I want to get kind of a nice texture. I want to get the paper, the watercolor paper itself, to come up a little bit. It's called a dry brush technique. So I'm just sort of, not a lot of not a lot of water. And this is this wheat field, which is kind of nice. So this idea of putting texture in with your brush, working quickly. Put a little shadow underneath that tree that'll be there in a little bit. So I'm using, again, the tip of the brush. I'm trying to get that texture that you would get from looking at a wheat field, especially on the side. Obviously, this wheat field is on the edge of a field. There's rocks. There's some things here. So we're looking right at the side of the wheat. Might have a little bit of a shadow towards the bottom as it meets the grass. I'm going to do this. I threw a little red in there just for contrast. I might even throw a little purple in there just to kind of, but see how I'm just sort of dragging my brush like this, and I get that, kind of that wheat. So it's just sort of a dry brush technique. See that? Okay, I'm gonna make these. I'm gonna sort of make these videos into sort of 10-minute intervals so they don't seem too long. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. So